So again, guys, but again, not on a cognitive level. I want you to own that thing. Like what is the reason why you've come up with this offer? What is it going to mean to you? What is it going to mean to your business? More importantly, what's it going to mean to the person that you offer it to, that takes you up on it and starts paying you on a monthly basis? So next up, joint ventures. We got a couple great presentations coming. Peter and Jason Nicomedis are going to be doing some cool stuff around this, so I'm going to kind of fly through this. But really quickly, joint ventures, guys, getting all your own coaching clients is just not a good roadmap. There's two levels that I like to talk about. They're seeking prospects with prospects and prospects with leverage. So my example of Tom Brady is like a prospect with leverage, because every person I can sit down with that I'm looking to look after their dog for the rest of my life, I mentioned what Tom Brady's dog was like, even after the dog's dead. You know what I mean? Like this is big, right? So prospects with leverage, right? From a sales conversion point of view. And then notwithstanding prospects with prospects is like an accountant, a bookkeeper, a networking organization. You say you want to find some carpenters. Well, the carpenters buy what? They buy wood from where? A wood wholesaler. Well, go to the wood wholesaler. He's never been approached about a JV in his life. Okay, so go to the wholesaler and then say, hey man, look, I'm going to help these carpenters significantly increase the number of renovations and garages that they build. So let's do this deal. Let's do this presentation. Poof, worked very, very well. So again, coaches, so again, just to dummy it down so you know what you're looking for, I'd encourage you to look for guys with leverage, but then guys with clients. Partner with a yoga school. Like I think this is really clever, like a franchise. You own a yoga school, I own a yoga school, and my yoga school is, look, I'm gonna ding you for $3,000, I'm gonna work with you for 3 months, and then I'm gonna autograph a piece of paper when it's done, and I'm gonna credit you, and then I'm gonna put on pom-poms and cheer for you, right? And then your business is this. Well, that's what the dummy Karl does, but here's what we do. We find that all his guys graduate, and then they fall on their nose, and they never actually end up having like a single stinking yoga course. So how we're totally different and how we separate ourselves from the competition is that we've partnered with these great looking guy, Walt Wise, at waltwisesbusinessacademy.com. Actually, it's BPI Marketing Academy in there. Yeah, right. I got it, baby. Okay, so, and he owns BPI Marketing Academy, which him and his partner spent over $1 million in 5 years building this bad boy. It's unbelievable. The resources he's got, the step-by-step instruction, the 52-week curriculum is just mind-boggling. So we partnered with him. So when you graduate with our yoga school, we're going to train you for the next 12 months with this online system that's available 24/7, so you can still watch the kids and get the curriculum on your own time. You can fast forward, you can rewind, you can press pause, go have lunch with your kids, and then come back to it. You see how, so that's the difference between my yoga school and your yoga school. Which yoga school do you want to go to? Oh, by the way, we charge an extra $1,000. They're $3,000, but we're $4,000. But pretty much we have a money-back guarantee, or we have a guarantee that you're going to get, at least a couple classes up and running, because again, we've got this unbelievable education. Could you see how, let's say you're $1,000 for 12 months on your website, right? You credit 100 yoga instructors with this group. That's $100,000 for the bank account. Boom, one relationship. And if that works, how many yoga schools do you think there are around the world? And do you think if it works for yoga schools, how many personal training studios do you think there are around the world?
Cosmetology schools.
And there we go. Right? And nail technician and just chiropractors and realtors and life coaching school. I mean, you name it. But could you see? And then you go to a franchise, it's the same thing. Gil and I had a really good conversation last night where, you go to a franchisor. I don't need to meet the franchisors to know they're letting their franchisees down in lead generation, and they're letting their franchise down in training, right? Welcome to planet Earth, right? So you become the pseudo training department for the franchisor. Now you got 100 franchisees, and they're all working on one lesson every week. Could you imagine the difference in the marketing for that particular school after 12 months? I mean, my goodness, right? So again, delayed gratification. I've got chocolate in this hand. I've got broccoli in that hand. Which one you taking? What's that? Come on, see, everybody says broccoli. They all take the chocolate, right? In 1 month's time, which one would you have wished you grabbed? The broccoli, right? Real obvious. This is kind of like joint ventures and clients. When you go for clients, that's kind of like the chocolate, which is fine and you need it, and chocolate's good, chocolate's fantastic. Eat dark chocolate instead of milk chocolate. But the joint ventures, they take a while. They're a pain in the backside. It's like pulling your friggin' hair out. But when it comes through, guys, and you put the only reason they're not saying yes is you haven't got your offer right, by the way, right? So, and notwithstanding possibly your state, and when you're phoning, and then the outcome you want, you phone them going, I wonder if he'll answer the phone. Well, no, you got to have the outcome lined up before you make that phone call, okay? But delayed gratification, I love that. I truly believe that, in business where it's just too much, results, now orientated in like our mind, when we really got to be thinking a little bit more long term, because, a year goes very quickly in business. commit before. We really got to keep going here, guys. We got to grab some lunch. But I want you to commit, just write down very, very quickly, guys, what are 3 joint venture partnerships that you think you could pull off when you get home? And again, you change your offer, you change your what, everybody? Boom. So I want you to come up with not only the joint venture you're going to go to, but I want you to go to them with like an undertaking and like where like the guy's looking at you going, this guy's got rocks in his head. Like he's offering me what to what? Because you get the relationship started, things can snowball very, very quickly. Look, some other ideas. So here's just a laundry list of some things that you could do to get clients, guys. Google AdWords. If you don't have a niche, I'm going to talk about that more in depth tomorrow. But if you don't have a niche, you don't do Google AdWords, or at least unless you want to spend a lot of money and not get results. Referrals, the opportunity to get referrals, especially, or you'll get a referral. You get twice the opportunity to get a referral early in the relationship, like within the first 7 days, the first 3 days, definitely the first 2 weeks. So ask for the referral then. Don't think, oh no, I'm going to do some kick-ass work with this guy and then do it in 2 months' time. Your referrals will dip dive, and remember, a 2% increase, is very impressive. A cold referral. I called a girl at the chamber, like, who wants to never do a cold call ever again for the rest of their life? Can I have a yes, please, right? Amen. Well, you're going to go, and an amen. Okay, so you're going to go to the Chamber of Commerce, and you're going to say, hey, Lucy, found her on the website. You're going to do some little homework on the internet. It's going to take you about 3 minutes, and you work out the salesperson. There's 3 of them, and Lucy's at the top, so we'll assume that she's the most senior. We're going to call Lucy and say, hey, Lucy, I need I need an accountant. I was wondering if you could recommend somebody. She's, oh yeah, look, could you do me a favor, Lucy? Could you give me 3, because I want to make sure I get the right guy. She says, Dave, Bill, and Bob. And you go, look, Lucy, when I call them, do you mind if I say that you told me to call? Absolutely. You phone up, Lucy from the chamber told me to call. Is Bill, Bob, or Joe there? Boom, guess what? Cold referral. So you call the girls at the chamber, you call the accountant, hey, do you know a plumber? Then you pick out your niche, and you just phoning very clear. So instead of phoning and saying, hey, do you know any small business owners that need some help? Do you know any plumbers? Do you know any IT companies? Do you know any butchers, bakers, candlestick makers? Very, very precise, okay? So for cold referrals, a lunch and learn, public speaking, guys. I know some of you just, can't stand public speaking, and I get that. But if you can get your head around it, it will bring you an unbelievable amount of not only clients, but opportunities. In fact, one of my speaking events, it was like, something like this, and I had a woman, she was standing right here. And she sent me 100, never met her before, saw my presentation, must have thought it was pretty good. Boom, she sent me $100,000 of coaching clients within 90 days of shaking her hand that day. And by the way, it wasn't in 2 minutes, it was 90 days. It took some time to provide some value, and I had a money back guarantee and all this sort of stuff. But could you imagine, like, you do a speaking event, you never know who's going to be in the room and the joint venture opportunities that could come. So it's not just about the clients, it's about the opportunities. And she introduced me to a few other folks. And she sent a lot more than 100 grand, but that was like within 90 days at the time. I was like, wow, this is cool. Focus group, telemarketer, just do it, right? Hire somebody in the Philippines, you got a young mom who's got a young child and she can't get out of the house that often. Boom, a single mom, boom, she becomes your telemarketer. She doesn't know what hour she can call because it depends on Bubs, but boom, get her on the phone, or somebody may be handicapped, doesn't get around the house all that well or in and out of the house, boom, perfect telemarketer. Or, look at opportunities overseas. Postcard mailings, look, lick some stamps and get them out there. Attend trade shows. Again, everybody's always disappointed after the trade show and the results. Everybody, okay, including us. So go to the trade show, see the folks, phone them afterwards and say, hey, we can double the results of this thing next time. The conversation in their head will be good. Buy database. Again, I don't know what it is in like Info USA if you want to target the US or Canada, because it's also in Canada. That's the best place to buy them from what I've seen. Giveaway memberships on EL. Not, the same sort of way that Chuck mentioned that he's giving this away. Give memberships to your website away. And you are correct. If you give 10 away, expect 8 people not even to look at the damn website. Welcome to planet Earth. But the 2 that do, you just need to go find 30, 40. The story needs to change. You just need to find more people to give it away to. And all of a sudden, you're going to have more people looking, more people reaching out. You get more coaching clients. You get more opportunities. You get more speaking events. You get more, accountants all of a sudden recommending your services. Dream 100 client list. We all know what that is, right? I mean, it's the Tom Brady if you're the dog care, like the doggy daycare. Make a list of folks that you really think could really change things for you if you took it on. All right. So now we're at converting coaching clients. If you want to improve your closing ratio, improve your opening. People buy off people. Boom. You gotta, they like you, they'll buy from you. If they don't, if the accountant, you go and pitch this, the grand, he'll tell you to buzz. If he doesn't like you, he doesn't care about your money, right, Doug? Do you agree with that? I mean, you need to build rapport with these guys. So again, change your offer, change your life. Part of your offer is knowing that, that the timing of the offer shouldn't be in the first 3 minutes of the conversation necessarily. That's a sweeping generalization there, but you get the idea. Close the deal. So now we're talking about getting the deal done, getting the credit cards basically. Practice. If you guys were honest with me, I think you're going to tell me that, look, when you practice, it's like, imagine if Tom Brady practiced in front of 50,000 people at, I'm trying to think of the stadium. What is the stadium there? What is it? Gillette? Okay, Gillette Stadium. They change it every year, don't they? It's too expensive to do these football fields. But anyway, so Gillette Stadium, if Tom Brady does his practicing on Sundays and only Sundays at game time, how do you reckon he'd go? Right? Please. Guys, we got to practice our closing. We got to practice our scripts. We got to practice, really, tightening down the way that we close and the way that we ask for the credit card and the way that you do it. You got to do it in front of a mirror. You got to do it by yourself. You got to do it with your wife. I mean, Tammy, how many times have I posted you up and said, baby, I know you don't want to do this, but you need to stand there. And I'm going to start talking, saying the crap that I've said 2,000 times, but I've got to practice, right? So again, don't practice up here. Practice in, your quiet time. Your conversions will go through your roof. A sale is a transfer of belief, and you can't transfer something that is not in your body. Okay, again, state, story, and strategy. It's about that state. If you're not owning this in your body, guys, and the story isn't that you can really change these lives and save these marriages, save these kids, and help these people with their identity to make sure that they, that they stay true to themselves and the success that they want and desire and ultimately deserve, you won't be able to do it. So you really need to own this in your body, guys. You can't transfer something you don't own. Offer a solid guarantee. We got a Craig Better, right? He told me this incredibly clear. I want to get $150,000 a year, and I want to coach 15 hours a week. He's on pace to do exactly that. He phones up folks, and he basically says, look, offers a money-back guarantee right there on the call. He's got himself 15 coaches, but he picks up the phone. He's making cold calls. He sold his business for $1 million. And I say that only in that, he's, this guy's not short of a mortgage payment. And he's like a, what I would consider to be a, high-level professional. I mean, I got a lot of respect for him. Boom, he just got going. He just picked up the phone and made it happen. But he offered an unbelievable guarantee. If your conversions aren't as good, in fact, his is, he's going to coach you for 30 days. He'll ding you for, it's $1,000 a month. And at the end of 30 days, if you're not completely satisfied, if you're not over the moon with his services, he refunds the entire 30 days. But he tells him that when he's pitching his offer. He doesn't tell him sort of 15 days into it. He doesn't tell him at the end of the conversation. Look, he tells him this on his cold call. Sounds like an okay deal. So that guarantee can go a very, very long way in breaking down the barrier and assisting people and giving you, that trust that you need. Get creative with your payment terms. Like, let's say you're $2,000 a month and somebody's humming and hawing. Somebody's humming and hawing, they say maybe, and you're about to walk out of the office and they're like, look, I'm going to speak to my wife. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Guys, it's a done deal. Maybe is a what? No? Boom. So how about you do this? Why don't you go, look. Let's do this. I believe in you that much, right? Let me do this. I'm going to charge you $500 and $500 only, month one, and it'll be $1,000 next month, and then $1,500, and then $2,000. So I'm going to give you 4 months of my time at a massively discounted rate until we get to the $2,000. See how that could work? And if you really need to bring it down, could you go 100, 200, 400, 800, 1,600, and then $2,000? You could do that, right? Like, give me $100, dude, and I will go write this marketing plan. I'll go put this information together. I will show up next week and knock your stinking socks off with the roadmap, the game plan, the ideas that I'm going to bring to the table, right? Again, at the end of the day, guys, get the deal done. What is that? What did I just describe? An offer. You just, when it comes time to close, but it's a secondary offer, you wouldn't come and pitch that, right? You'd be crazy to, but that's your downsell. But if you leave that room without getting the deal done, the deal's not there. So again, get creative with your payment terms and eat a little bit of humble pie to say no. In order to get this deal, if you genuinely want to work with a guy, if he's a bit of a nightmare, then don't, just walk out of there and don't do the deal. You want to do business with him, you see some opportunities, he might be able to send you folks in the future, boom. Get real creative and do whatever you need, boom. Number 5. Guys, if you don't take anything away from this seminar at all, take this one. Your job, how would you like to be in the same game as iTunes? Sound like a pretty profitable company? Okay, do you know what they do? They collect credit cards. Okay, that's the KPI. Steve Jobs, when he was around, trust me, he's sitting there staring at the numbers, And he would have said, how many credit cards do we have today? How many credit cards do we have today? How many credit cards do we have today? My question for you is, how many credit cards are you going to have 14 days past this seminar? Or again, get really clear on what you guys want in terms of your goal, but that is a really good KPI, guys. How many live credit cards do you have on file with your coaching client? And again, direct transfers and checks, you want to do your coaching off of a credit card. Why? Upsells down, upsells in the futures and other products and programs, boom, opportunities are insane. Okay? You don't have the credit card, it could be a significantly more difficult undertaking to get them to buy the social media course, the John Robbins program, what have you. Okay? Support your case. So basically, if you're going to go into the court of law, like the O.J. Simpson deal, right, where he walks in and, like he obviously he went into that thing and he's like, we got to put everything, or his lawyers more to the point, we have to have everything on tap in order to get this done. Right, or to get the decision in our favor. You guys got to do the same thing. So what could you use to support your case to increase your conversions? Testimonials, endorsements. Again, imagine if Tom Brady was writing you a testimonial, or some high-level professional. And by the way, when I say celebrity, you'd be surprised at easy it is to get like a bit of mini celebrity in your local area. Right, you don't need to have some Hollywood actor here. Right, like again, there's people like, oh, wow, them. Yeah, I've heard about that company. I've seen the write-up. I heard about the awards. I heard that they were, voted the franchise of, the year in Canada or something along those lines. And then say it's a franchise of the year in Canada, but then you're working with one of the franchisees. Again, you could still mention they're the franchise of the year in the country, and then I'm working with Dave down the road. So again, a little bit of that. Before and after pics. Website with domain. So again, just not a website, become profitbeforeyouPay.com. My opinion, that was actually payment terms that we brought into my coaching company many, many moons ago. We were sitting with a client and it was time to close. And again, my job was to help the coaches convert to the higher level. So I said, look, let's call it the Profit Before You Pay plan. Right? Like, I don't know, see what happens. Boom, conversions went up and I said, hey, we'll stick with it. I bought the domain name. Books, again, talked about that earlier, guys. An author gets more coaching deals than a non-author. End of story. Okay, end of story. So again, if you got to take advantage of that author program, guys. You want to have that. In fact, Chuck, didn't you tell me earlier too about you gave away your book as well, or was it just this one? Yeah, so you
gave away more than I saw.
Yeah, it's a giveaway. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. On a higher level than that, you can't buy my book, because here's the deal: I was coaching you. If my coaching fees are $12,000, and then you can buy me for $29.95, guess what you're going to say? Look, let me take the book. And then I'll check it out, see if I like your methodologies, and we'll talk about working together later. It's not happening. Don't let them buy you for $29.95. Start at the $12,000, and then say, well, look, why don't you buy like 10 of my books? All right? You don't just need one. These things need to be like Christmas presents for all your friends and your kids. So, but your books, guys, you got to use them. You walk on stage in a dynamic like this, right, where you got small business owners. You should have one book in the building and one book only. The rest are in the trunk of your car. You're holding it in your hand. And again, you don't go to the trunk of the car to get them. They're like, there's none available. They're sold out, whatever it is. But the book will take you to another level, okay? In the eyes of the clients. News clippings and links, like news clippings in this day and age, these are like links and whatnot. But at the end of the day, do some PR. And again, but leverage it. Client lists, comparison charts. So, well, look, this is what the competition does, and this is what I do. I got a $50,000 marketing system to get the relationship started. And the competition doesn't. Oh, and by the way, my partners and I spent $1 million building this, this online business academy, taking 5 years to get to where it's at. He doesn't have that. I do. Hey, who are you going to go with? Boom. Earning reports from clients. Again, when you work with an accountant very closely, you can do that kind of thing much, much easier. I mean, it's just happening organically. Video product demo. You guys, The Profit. Anybody know that show? Hands up. Probably. I love Shark Tank. Hands up. Yeah, Dragon's Den, hands up. You guys know those? I'm guessing we're all fan of those, right? My opinion, The Profit, if you haven't seen it, I think it's a CNBC thing, so I think it's predominantly in North America. Fantastic show. If you want to learn, like me, I mean, I like watching those shows and then learning something. So if that's why you like to watch the Shark Tank and whatnot, The Profit is absolutely fabulous, because he gets in there and he gets his hands dirty a little bit. In my opinion, he's a genius. He's a fabulous businessman. Anyway, so he's basically got this TV show on CNBC. Could you guys have a few videos on YouTube? Could you create, a bit of you're going to take on a coaching client. Your offer is the fact that you're going to create a video with his particular client that you're going to then use on YouTube. And part of the deal is that I normally charge $2,500 a month. I'm going to reduce my rate down to 1,000, but I want a contingency. But you and I are going to create a video, and you're going to be able to use it for your marketing for the next 100 years. I'm going to give you full rights to it. Is that a better offer than no video? And by the way, and remind, say, have you seen The Profit? Send them celebrity endorsement, kind of, not really, but celebrity leverage. Send them like an online episode of The Profit and say, look, this is what my 16-year-old kid, who's like a video guy, this is what we're going to create. Again, he's watching The Profit. He's probably going to go, wow, that show's stinking amazing. You're going to do something like this with my business? Are you crazy? Like, absolutely, sign me up. Your offer goes to another level. And by the way, guys, watch The Profit a few times, and he breaks it down to
People, process.
what is it? People,
process, and
profit, product. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so he's got it broken down into, like, again, a methodology. He doesn't just come in and, like, make it up as he goes. He's got this methodologies that he walks in with, part of his story, by the way. Different from the story that I talked about earlier. Every good sale needs a good story. So use a good story when you walk in there, and the video could, significantly jack that up. And notwithstanding, do you think it might be pretty cool, right, to create your own little video series around the plumbers and the mortgage brokers and the other clients that you're working with? Boom, and then your why becomes a little bit, further, and then you're looking to work with another mortgage broker, and then you create like a really cool video that could, in a market that's completely different from his, and you say, look, go check out this video, or go watch what I did with this client. Again, do you think your conversions might go up? Answer is absolutely. So, video product demo, I think that could be, all of us could do that. I think it would be a lot of fun, and I think it'd be incredibly powerful. And this needs to be something you can see. 80% of a sale is optically stimulated. It needs to be something you see. If you guys have been sold by our company, you were sitting in front of your computer, we were sitting in front of your computer, you were staring at your computer screen, and then we were kind of moving around what you saw. Doesn't happen by accident. If I talk to somebody, one of our guys talks to somebody, and they're not in front of their computer, guess what? The conversation is over and we're rescheduling. So again, 80% of a sale is optically stimulated, so I'm not going to, describe, the marketing systems. I'm not going to describe these 5 steps and how, when you do the 5 steps and a 10% increase, then a 50% increase, that's not something I'm going to talk about. That's something I'm going to want to show them. Again, and so a little bit of a laundry list in terms of increasing your conversion rates. Effective downsell. Again, like a downsell, the example of that could just be your clever payment terms we talked about earlier. Okay, they don't want to buy $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $5,000 a month coaching. Downsell them to, $2,000 for 12 months on your website, $4,000 for 12 months on your website, what have you. A written, powerful guarantee. I used to have a guarantee and like it's stamped, like it almost looked like it was the, like the United States government stamped this thing, right? So it could look really, really official. Get Craig, he's a graphic designer. He does this thing up, takes him 15 minutes, right? Boom, so a powerful guarantee, but then with like a really cool logo, works well. When somebody says no, ask them why. There might be something you're not doing right. I've often had it where somebody said no, I've sent them an email saying, I was just curious as to why, and guess what happens in 14 days? They end up coming back. And there's something about the fact that I care and I'm interested in their opinion and whatnot, and I'm genuinely disappointed that they're not moving forward, and all of a sudden they turn around and become a client. But this will be good for your own conversion rates. I'm interested in why they are saying no, and you should be. Interview, leverage industry top performers. This can work really well. I mentioned Craig earlier, doing the $150,000 and 15 hours a week of coaching. So he basically, he accepted the fact he didn't know what the hell he was doing, right? And then he basically got on a particular website, all these industry professionals, which you can see right there. You can see who's active and who's getting respect and this sort of thing. Phoned them all up, did some interviews, and all of a sudden now he's speaking to, other folks in his niche, and then he's able to talk about his conversation with these guys. And it sounds like, he's not saying they're clients, but it sounds like they are. But I'll tell you this, interviewing industry professionals, very, very powerful. The knowledge that you could get from these guys, it can be unprecedented, it'd be fabulous. Financing options. Again, there are financing companies could do this. Pre-2008, this was just, they were out there. You just had to go and phone a couple of them. What you can do is find a financing company. Say your program's $2,000 a month, $24,000. Well, the client fills out the paperwork. The finance company pays you the $24,000 up front, and then they pay the finance company and and get the 10-12% interest for the next X amount of time. Okay, so that could work. But financing options, or notwithstanding, you got a social media program that, again, we'll talk about more about that tomorrow when I talk. But say you got a program that you're white labeling that you own with your brand, and it's an extra $2,000. instead of just hitting them for the $2,000 up front, just let them pay it off. Say, look, pay me $500 a month.